So, this is the Fallout 3 portion of my Fellout project. I'm going to go through, hopefully very briefly, the mods I've got installed, DLCs I've got installed, and sort of what all is going to be involved from a modded standpoint. So, I'm using Nexus Mod Manager. It's pretty big if you're doing Fallout. Actually, at this point, pretty much a lot of games have mod support from that. So, that's sort of the formatting for this. So, I've trimmed it down into sort of various chunks, just so that you can sort of see what all is going on with that. Anyway, obviously Fallout 3 is the base game. I do have all the DLCs, Anchorage, ThePitt, BrokenSteel, PointLookout, and Zeta. This is the alien one. I have played through Fallout 3 before. The last time I think I finished it was 5 or 6 years ago. That was obviously before a lot of the mods. Since then, I have played through it partially again, and I have played through several of the mods, but it's been at least a year and a half since I've done so. So, mods that I'm planning on exploring at least partially. Anchorage is always fun. I think it's a pretty solid as far as gameplay, solid as far as reward, and solid as far as not being incredibly frustrating. ThePitt doesn't quite make the cut. I've got enough extra other mods, and I don't think ThePitt really adds what I'm looking for story-wise. BrokenSteel is the one thing I have not finished. It sort of adds on to the Fallout 3 base game, that story, sort of story, main quest, whatever. BrokenSteel goes pretty much as soon as that ends, and adds on another sort of week or two after that, gameplay-wise. PointLookout, not really the biggest fan. I think it turns into a little bit of too much of a sort of, things have far too much AC, far too much armor, and realistically don't really give you any sort of solid drop besides just sort of running and gunning through large amounts of open area, occasionally killing something. So it's gonna be on the load order. I'm not gonna realistically go through it. Most of the reason I'm doing this is just so that it simplifies it simplifies the load order significantly if I just include everything. Mothership Zeta, I'm not going to go through. I've done it once. Actually, I think I might have done it twice. It's fun. It's exciting. It's not really what I'm after. I think it's a little too non-canonical, despite being sort of in canon in the game. So that's the official stuff. Now for the unofficial stuff. iHUD and inventory access. These are, iHUD's basically the better heads-up display, better presentation on a PC instead of a 360 or whatever Fallout originally came on. Inventory access is just a sort of mod framework. So, major new areas, DC interiors. This is basically adding stuff behind the myriad of closed doors. A World of Pain, pretty much the same thing, except it adds more sewers, and has a lot more stuff out to kill you. Fallout 3 Wanderers Edition, for any New Vegas players who play with Project Nevada. This is the sort of backport equivalent of Project Nevada, at least from the understanding I get. Lots of optional stuff, lots of fun stuff to set up. It makes the game, I don't want to say more realistic, but it keeps you from having to sink half a clip of whatever high-powered weapon you have into a super mutant's head, just to keep them from charging at you. I think it adds more balance. Anyway, moving on. Craft and CALIBR. Craft is sort of a unification of crafting recipes, sort of makes everything play nice together. CALIBR, basically the same thing, unification of ammo types. So that's all these. Nothing really much more to say about that. WeaponModKits. WeaponModKits. B for no spacing in these when I'm trying to read them. This basically takes the New Vegas style weapon mod kits, brings them to Fallout 3. I liked them in New Vegas. I thought they were a little bit light as far as the options. This, I think, does a pretty solid job of sort of adding the functionality without horribly breaking the game. Of course, inevitably, as this is a mod that does something more than just add a new room or add a new gun, it actually pretty significantly changes the gun mechanics, the DPS and damage per shot and damage per second sort of readouts on the guns don't necessarily work too well with these. So anyway, moving on. Fellout. This is sort of a visual enhancement mod. It makes things less green. Power armor. I've always found that the sort of canonical power armor, I like it in the sort of Fallout lore, sort of not in the game. It sounds a lot more impressive. In game, obviously, there are a couple of issues. I'll probably bring this up once I actually get to that point in game. But this sort of helps make power armor slightly more worth it. Tin can crafting. I think this just lets you straighten out tin cans. Trader 100% repair gives a couple select traders or repair NPCs the ability to repair you up to 100%. I think there's like one person who can do it. Basically, Fallout 3 has a really wacky repair system, especially if you try and get stuff all the way up. Basically, you can keep it to the point where it's maintained for 2 or 3 shots, then it falls into the maintain point and you start taking a bunch of penalties. This sort of just de-stupefies things a little bit. Anyway, Underground Hideout, Megaton House, Theme Overhaul, and Mini Hideout. These are player houses. They come with some nice features. Aside from that, maybe a 15-20 minute quest sort of thing. Nothing major, just, well, I think most people play Fallout games, and they end up being a bit of a pack rat. It's just a thing that happens. Nothing wrong with it, but these add... the big draw to these are the sort of auto-sorting systems that they bring in. So anyway, the junk food, barbecue chips, crisps, this is a texture replacer for basically all the food items, all the smaller packaging, the smaller stuff. I haven't really gotten to see that too much, but it just sort of brings the textures up to a more modern standard. So anyway, if we look back at the sort of big picture, this is going to be surprisingly, I'm going to call it a more deadly vanilla. Wanderers Edition and WeaponModKits basically make it, well, Wanderers Edition makes it so that things can kill you very quickly. WeaponModKits makes it so that you can kill things before, well, hopefully before they kill you too badly. And aside from that, it's just minor tweaks. So, despite having, I think, 50 or 60, actually I think it's about 45 or 50 mods, expect a relatively vanilla experience from that. So, anyway, that is Fallout 3 sort of mod list. I'll be doing a second video immediately after this one, going over the New Vegas mod list, and obviously both mod lists are tentative. If something comes up and I see I really have to have this mod, I'll go ahead and add it in, and then note that in the video that it's added. Realistically though, I prefer not to. It does, if you get everything sort of loaded in at the very beginning before you get started, it helps minimize crashes a little bit. So anyway, fingers crossed as to it not crashing everything in sight. And we'll just sort of have to play it by ear from
from this. So anyway, that will conclude this video. Next video is the same thing for Fallout New Vegas. So till then, stay safe.